So hello everyone, it's the Cricket Connoisseur here and welcome to episode 18 of the TCC Talks Podcast. Now today I'm joined by someone who'll be very familiar to any fans of South African domestic cricket out there. It is none other than former VKB Knights all-rounder, Shadley Van Schalkwyk. So first things first, Shadley, thank you very much for coming on to the podcast today, mate. How's your day been so far?
Shadley here. So interesting. So obviously I'm in the USA now, so it's 9 a.m. here. So we haven't done much. Woke up, had a cup of coffee, and basically going through what our plans are for the day. So that's how my day's been really.
No, fair enough. Not much we can do at the moment, is there really, with COVID going on, unfortunately. But to kickstart this podcast, really, Shadley, classic question on the podcast. What's your first ever memory of cricket, either playing or watching the game?
Wow. So I've got a few. So in South Africa, we had a thing called Baker's Mini Cricket. It's called KFC Mini Cricket now. And it's the first ever memory I really have is just getting onto what we call in South Africa a taxi, which is like a minibus, and driving towards this massive festival to play cricket. And I mean, I didn't have any bat, I didn't have any ball there. Luckily, we got supplied the things. And getting out there and seeing so many kids playing, but also at the same time being very intimidated, but just wanting to play cricket. That's one of my memories I remember. But there's another one that actually stands out to me. So there used to be a little league called sort of Metropolitan something in South Africa. I was under 13. I'll never forget this. And we were lucky enough to make the last 4 teams. So we got to play a game on Newlands cricket ground at under 13. And I mean, I was absolutely excited. We walked on the field. I remember taking some grass off the sort of the ground itself and putting it in my shoe so I could keep it as a memory to say that I played at Newlands. Lo and behold, I probably fell out my shoe while I was running or something, but that's one of the memories I was so excited for, playing at Newlands Cricket Ground, but taking grass I can show my friends at home that I actually played at Newlands. Never thought I'd play many more games there like I did, yes.
That's a nice little memory, definitely. And obviously, that was your hometown, wasn't it? Cape Town. Beautiful stadium, Newlands, definitely on my bucket list in terms of cricket grounds. But back then in those early days, who did you kind of look up to in terms of cricketing role models or inspirations?
So I'll be honest, early days, not as much people as I thought. I had a lot of respect for a lot of cricketers. When I was very young, I remember Courtney Walsh used to be someone I spoke about every single time. And I mean, not knowing, I just loved the guy for some unknown reason as a kid. And then as I got older and started understanding a little bit more about cricket, I became a big Brian Lara fan.
Nice choice.
And the reason I became a Brian Lara fan is, I mean, he's one of the greats, undoubtedly one of the greats of the game. But the time he played and the phase he played wasn't very good. So he single-handedly most of the time had to. Not saying that they weren't very good, they were good. I mean, but he single-handedly had to win games against some great teams, which I had a lot of respect for. Yes. So that's one of my cricketing heroes as I got older, and still to this day, Brian Lara is.
Great choice. Obviously, I'm a Warwickshire fan. He played for us, famously scored 501 out in a county championship game against Durham in 1994 during the treble. So great choice. Can't really argue with that, Shadley.
Yeah, that's good then.
But obviously with Brian Lara, he was obviously one of the greatest ever batsmen. Why did you choose seam bowling over the likes of batting, becoming a specialist batsman, or even spin bowling, for example?
So, interesting little story. So, I played for school days. I played for school and I played for a club team. So, at school, I bowled a little bit and I batted a bit more. But at club level, I was a wicket keeper, believe it or not. The other way around, sorry. So at school, I was the wicket keeper, and at club level, I was the bowler. So the school didn't know I could bowl, and vice versa. So one week, during the week, I'd play for the school, and I'd wicket keep and not bowl a ball, and be lucky enough just to bat in the nets at that stage. And then at club level, it would be completely different. I mean, they'd give me, yes, Shadley, here's the new ball, you bowling. So 2 aspects, and then I could always bowl. Believe it or not, I wouldn't say I chose bowling and I wanted to bowl. It sort of chose me. It might sound like a cliche, so it chose me a little bit. But I remember it was a game for Weinberg's first team. And we I wouldn't say we were in trouble, but they needed a different bowler. And Richard Levy at that time said, look, Shadley, have a go. And then the first 2 overs, I took I think it was 3 wickets. And everyone was like, Shadley, I didn't know you could bowl. So I was like, yeah, I could always bowl. I just never said or anything like that. No one ever asked me. So that's sort of how I became or grew into being a bowler sort of from that late stage, if I can say it. I mean, I always went to sort of provincial trials sometimes as a wicketkeeper or as a bowler, depending on who sent me to the trials.
It's a unique pathway into bowling.
Yeah, very different. Very different.
But yeah, you alluded there, you played for Wynberg, one of the most prestigious schools in South Africa, really. You mentioned your teammate Richard Levy, someone who we know obviously in England, played for Northamptonshire. In addition to that, other famous alumni, I've got Jacques Callis, Alan Lamb, who played for England, more recently Carl Verreynne. And funnily enough, I believe you're actually on their notable alumni, so well done, Shadley.
Thank you.
But so yeah, how did your time at Wynberg prepare you for a career in professional cricket?
Wow. So I wouldn't say it did actually prepare me. I can't say it didn't prepare me. It was just such an enjoyment factor. So I used to play rugby at the same time. So it used to be very difficult for me. So between rugby and cricket. So in rugby season, I love cricket, rugby way more than cricket. And then in cricket season, I love cricket way more than rugby. And then it got to a stage where I was like, okay, now what am I going to do? I got offered a sort of a contract at the academy, a Sharks Academy. Not a contract, but they invited me to come try it and play rugby there. So I was like, maybe I can explore that. And then cricket season came. And I was like, nah, I like cricket way more. I'm not even going to consider rugby. And so a pivotal role is I never actually made any, say, state team or county team or provincial team until under 19. So I never actually made a standout team until under 19 cricket. And I mean, credit must be given to my coach at that time, Eric Lifson. I mean, but I never made a side completely before that. And Wynberg's cricket was renowned for, look, I think for the years I was there, we had the likes of like a Dominic Tallow, a Richard Levy, a few guys that played Kokwick, a Malusi Sibotu that plays for Lions now. So a lot of us played, and they were really seriously good cricketers. But there was such a fun element around it with the banter and the jokes around. I love that fact, and I love the fact of being in that team sport. And knowing that they sort of made like, it's okay to fail. Sort of, they made that feeling, and I was like, oh, that's brilliant. And that's they wanted us to grow, they wanted us to make mistakes, which was absolutely great for me. Absolutely great. So with the pathway it's been designed, not designed, it's the pathway it's helped me out with is just a little bit of a stepping stone. Enjoyment. There was not a lot of technical work, if I can say that. It's not like you have to get your front foot forward, do this, do that. I remember straight after school, I would join the Western Province Academy at that time, and the coach said first time, like, Shadley, you don't have a technique. So look, what do you mean? I don't have a technique. I mean, I've had such a great school season, which for me at that time was like, I'm the best school in the cricketing school in South Africa. I was like, but I had such a great school season. What do you mean I don't have a technique? It's like, look how much you're falling over. Look how much this is happening. I was like, it's a lot more technical than I thought. And I mean, look, figuring out the good technique for me that worked was quite a good stepping stone after Wynberg. But Wynberg provided the base, if I can say that. Yes. So a lot of credit must go to the teachers also, and the cricket coaches.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm glad you chose cricket over rugby. I'm sure the Knights fans out there are very glad as well. We could have seen you playing Super Rugby with the Sharks. But yeah, fast forward, a few years from your time at Wynberg, you made your professional debut for the Diamond Eagles back then, weren't they? They weren't the Knights. What were you feeling on your debut? How nervous were you on that day?
So, wow, this is going to be a weird little, not a story, but my journey was a little bit quicker than a lot others. So I remember I was at Western Province National Academy at that time, the South African National Academy, and I went to one of the coaches said, look, you've got a trial set out at the Eagles. Go speak to Western Province. And I went back and then turned down the trial, stayed at Western Province. And then eventually a couple of months later, a contract came through my agent at that time. And he said, look, here's a contract. Do you want to go? And spoke to my parents, said, yeah, happy to go. And then it was very weird for me because the Sunday, I played a game for Western Province. The Monday, I got a clearance. I had a meeting with the CEO at that time. The Tuesday, I was on a flight to Bloemfontein, collected my kit. The Wednesday, was on the bus with the team to play my first game against the Dolphins. So I never met anyone. Only knew someone, CJ de Villiers. And I mean, walking onto the bus with the likes of, I've just seen like Tandy Chabalala was playing for South Africa back then. Puta Dipena was playing. What if I used to watch these guys on TV. Victor Pitsang, like all these guys were on TV, and all of a sudden I'm walking onto the same bus as them. I didn't even know. I'll be honest, I didn't know where to sit. I didn't know if I was allowed on the bus or what. So I sort of waited until everyone got on, and I went to the person and like, look, CJ, can I sit next to you? It's like, yeah, sure, come sit in. I got on very well with him. I was lucky at that time. A guy by the name of Ryan Bailey was also from Cape Town, so we had a little bit of common ground there. So he made me feel very welcome to the team. And back then, let's be honest, a lot of people didn't make you feel welcome. You had to earn your welcome to the team, which I loved, and I'm still a big supporter of that. I mean, they were very like, no, I had to wait outside the change room, let everyone go find their seat, and be the last one in and see if there's an empty seat for me to sit down in. And I mean, I love that part. I love that part of cricket. I've been taught that way in my whole life. So you have to earn your spot in the side, which is something I believe by. But times now has changed. Let's be honest. So it's not bad, but that was so intimidating going into my first game with against the Dolphins. I mean, I don't think I had a bad game. I'll never forget. No one wanted to bat in the nets. I wanted to bat in the nets. I wanted to see how I could cope against, because I've never faced these guys in my life. And I mean, Dylan Dupree was absolutely rapid at that stage. I played when we started the game, and like growing up, you face fairly quick bowlers. And I remember watching the first over and thinking to myself, why are they bowling this quick? Like, is this normal? Like, I've never seen this quick bowling in my life. Like, why? Like, and I was so confused. And I mean, Quentin Friend at that stage played for the Dolphins, and I remember one of my good friends now, but he had such a full go at me while I was batting. It was absolutely brilliant. I loved it. And obviously me being a young, little ignorant and a little bit, I wouldn't say arrogant, but a little bit too overconfident kid.
Yeah.
Obviously mouthing a little bit back, but it's like you live and you learn. So I learned. So that first debut game was an unbelievable experience, but also a very intimidating one, because I literally knew no one until I walked on the bus. That Wednesday, yeah.
Wow, I mean that's again very unique circumstances. We're noticing a pattern here.
yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, not the most traditional pathway, but fair enough. Obviously, and you stayed with the Knights pretty much for your entire first-class career as well. But as you mentioned, the pace, obviously, that's a massive factor in professional cricket. But what would you say was the biggest lesson that you learned in maybe your first couple of seasons with the Eagles?
So I'll be honest, I've always, like, when I look back and I think about it, the first season's always the easiest one, believe it or not, because you're that confident. Not a lot of players know that much about you. So they don't know what to do. They don't know your weaknesses. But then the second season comes and it's a little bit harder. And then the third season comes and it's really tough, the third season, because everyone all of a sudden knows exactly what you bowl, when you bowl it, why you bowl it, how you bowl it, how you bat, how to get you out, where's your strength. So everyone knows every single stat about it. So the third season's quite a bit harder. So the lessons the first year, you sort of like, this is simple, I can play at this level. You believe. The second year, you still believe a little. The third year, you sort of like, am I really good enough? Sort of, you go through a little bit of this is just my journey. I can't speak for anyone else's. I was like, am I really good enough to play at this level? Because I had 2 decent seasons, and then third season I had a dip. And I was like, I don't actually know if I'm really that good, because all of a sudden, it's not really the skill factor, but now there's a different element to the game where they know exactly what to do, how you do it, when you do it, why you do it, and those things. So now but in growing that, I remember, I can't remember who actually told me, and she said, look, it's a battle of your skill. They know this now, but you know that of them. So how do you get that to benefit you and kick on? And then sort of the fourth season you start, or towards the end of the third season for me, I started gaining a lot more confidence, how I'd like to train, how I'd like to find my routine, and what worked for me, and not thinking about too many external factors, which helped me a lot, which helped me a hell of a lot, yes. So that's one of the big lessons I've learned, is knowing that you belong, but you have to sort of earn that right. Only after a few games do you actually feel like you belong. So that's the biggest lesson, just self-belief, if I can say that to sum it up.
Well, it's a great lesson to learn, obviously. Great advice for any young cricketers out there as well, who maybe just starting, obviously, their journey, maybe even in the higher leagues. But I like how you mentioned that with regards to people kind of finding you out, because especially nowadays in the modern era, you can find out people's stats, people's weaknesses, literally at the click of a button. You can go on Stats Guru, CricViz, and yeah, it's pretty much the fans' fingertips as well now. So I quite like that you pointed that out, definitely, and it is interesting for young cricketers as well. There isn't that sense of mystery, is there, after the first season? But yeah, in your first couple of seasons, 2009, the Eagles made the Champions League T20. My goodness, that was quite a fun tournament. I used to really like that. Yeah, it was. It was a good tournament. I liked it. You had the IPL, you had the English teams, South African teams, the Australian teams. How would you describe your experiences in that tournament in India?
Wow, so that was one of the most amazing experiences I've ever had in my life. I mean, it's, once again, I got used to playing with the Eagles, so I knew the guys. But then we go and we played New South Wales Blues, and David Warner, Simon Cattage, Phil Hughes, Brett Lee, Moses Enriquez, like some of these guys you've watched on TV. And I remember we were standing in the tunnel. I was like third or fourth or last to come out, and I was standing next to David Warner, and he sort of looked at our kids like, "Oh, you guys, kid is quite nice." It's like, wow, why is this guy talking to me? Like, no, it's not. Like, these guys are. I remember playing the game and obviously got out very badly, trying to slog for massive six. Wickets went tumbling everywhere, and I remember. But before that, Brett Lee was having such a go at myself and Ryan McLaren. Like, sort of, they were just giving it to us on the field. And look, South African, you're sort of used to that. And I'll never forget, after that, we were total. We lost the game, obviously, quite convincingly. I think they got like 140 yard. We got bowled out for 97 or something ridiculous like that. And I remember the hotel, and we sort of went to the bar downstairs, and Brett Lee and Dougie Bollinger was there. So they walked up to myself, and I think it was Riza Hendricks at that time, sitting at the bar, and like, "Hey, we played against you guys tonight." And I was like, "Yeah." And Brett Lee's like, "No, come join us for a beer." And I was like, "What? Are you serious? Like, you Brett Lee? Like genuinely, like, this guy was just giving us a full go, but off the field, the most welcoming people, or sort of." And look, I'll be honest, I didn't ask him any questions because I was that intimidated, and I would say that much respect for him. So I didn't ask him any questions. And if I look back, I was like, I just wish I spoke a little bit more. They must have thought this weird 20-year-old kid is so silent. But I mean, I wished the lessons I learned, I could have learned if I spoke a little bit more. But at the same time, I mean, they were Brett Lee at that stage, one of the greatest in the world. And to be able to play against him was absolutely brilliant, and also to learn from them. And just to see how nice they were off the field. But as soon as you cross that rope, other people, completely different people, which was great. And I love that. I love that part about this.
Well, yeah, definitely. That rings true for pretty much most Australian cricketers, doesn't it? As soon as it's on the pitch, all business, getting in your face, playing some very, very hard cricket.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you mentioned Moise Enriquez, because he's the one who got you out.
Yeah, it is. I remember.
Just found that quite funny. But yeah, that was a good team back then, wasn't it? As you mentioned, captain by Bhuthadi Panay, you had the McLaren brothers, yourself, class team that night. Well, Eagles team back then. But what do you say was your proudest moment with the Eagles/Knights? Because you obviously had a pretty distinct career with them. You had well over a decade with them in first-class cricket and obviously in white ball cricket as well. What would you pinpoint as your proudest moment?
I'd probably say three, to be honest. I'd probably say there's three moments that stand out. It's obviously going to Champions League, playing cricket in India against some of the greats. That's one. The second one would probably be a final we played at Newlands. 28,000 people. I'll never forget it. I mean, for me, that was obviously a massive number. Sold out stadium, never played in front, but that was such an enjoyable moment. We lost the final to the Cobras, unfortunately. But, I mean, at the same time, I was very lucky enough to play against Herschel Gibbs and a Graham Smith at that time. So that was really brilliant for me. That's one moment, the sort of final, although we lost, it was a big standout moment sort of to get us to Champions League. And then the third one was the Sunfoil series. We won a trophy. I think I would love to say 2016. I think it's 2016. Yes, we won a South.
16, 17, yeah.
16, 17 years. We won the Sunfoil series trophy, and I mean that was a really hard time. And it showed. I think we won by 1 point.
Yeah, over the Titans.
And I remember that over the Titans. And I remember there's two defining moments. There was the bonus points works. There was a catch on the last ball of, I think it was 80th over, which gave us 1 extra point. And then there was another moment where our number 10 and 11 was batting, and 1 ball left before the bonus points. We needed 1 more run. And the ball, it was a dot ball, went straight to keeper, and these guys ran, and all of us were shouting, "What are you doing?" for the run out. And they actually got us the bonus point, which won us the series at the end. So I mean, it was little moments that led up to something so big. And then that's probably the 3 massive highlights, yes. The 3 massive highlights for me.
Well, yeah, it was a ridiculously close competition. 1 point. As you said, it was all down to bonus point as well. And yeah, in that, it was that series as well, wasn't it? Marchand Elango, he got like 7 for 20 odd against the Titans in one of the games.
Yeah, he did. Look, I have to touch on that game. That was the most unbelievable experience I've ever seen in my life. So obviously, Duan Olafere and Marchand Elango was at that time the quickest bowlers in South Africa. And I think, I can't remember who batted first. No, we batted last. We had to chase the game, yes.
Yeah.
So they batted first, set the score, sort of bowled us out fairly. They had an 80 lead. And so all of us were sort of a little bit negative, and then walked down the steps, and then I promise you, Marchand Elango did not bowl a ball under 150. You can ask anyone that played that game. I've never seen such quick bowling in my life. And this is being dead on, so wicket was a little bit green. I had 1 or 2 cracks in it, so it was quick, the typical Pretoria wicket. And the wicketkeeper was genuinely standing probably a meter outside the 30-yard circle, if there was a 30-yard circle. It was that quick. You can speak to any batter. I think David Visser, you speak to all the guys that played the game, and they all probably say that's the quickest bowling they've ever faced. And I mean, I was standing gully, and I remember asking the captain, like, "Look, Dennis, can I please stand back? That's just ridiculous. I'm never going to catch a ball, even if it hits his glove." And I mean, I remember him nicking a few guys off up here through the glove, and it's carrying to the keeper, jumping. And it was so quick. And in 14 overs, we bowled them out, and we had to chase the game, and we ended up winning, which was great. Probably one of the best 4-day victories I've ever had. Yeah, but sorry to interrupt like that, yes.
No, not a problem. I actually had something prepared for that. I thought you were going to mention it as one of your proudest moments. But yeah, to everyone at home who maybe didn't know about that game, Elango 7 for 23, that's what it was. 7 for 23 in the second innings, and you bowled them out for 50-odd runs. Duan Olafere got the other 3 innings, the other 3 wickets, sorry. And in the first innings, Olafere 6 for 60. So quite a good game for those 2.
Yeah, I remember walking off the field after the second innings and telling Marchand and Duan, like, could have at least told me to put on my batting spikes. I didn't even get to bowl a ball as a joke. So it was a bit of a giggle, but honestly, those 2 on that day specifically, I've never seen anything like that in my life. And I've played a lot of cricket, but I hope I'll see it again one day in my life, but I've never seen anything like that, yes.
Well, yeah, incredible. As you said, you did chase it, and you were knocked out, 34 not out, 4-wicket victory for the Knights.
Actually, first ball, because it was such an intense and tough game. First ball, I got bowled a bouncer and straight onto my shoulder. And then you sort of knew you were in for a battle here. And it was, I promise you, probably 4 short balls over, 2 in your half. And I mean, and at that time, some of them didn't actually care about bowling a no ball short, which was absolutely great. So they'd bowl it 2, and you're like, okay, they can't bowl another one. They'll bowl another one. And like, okay, no, they can bowl another. So they sort of, and everyone was just giving it to everyone, but it was brilliant. I think Tien's our captain at that time got 97 not out or something like that. I remember walking off the field and my friend saying, "You know, you cost your captain 100, eh?" So like, what do you mean we won the game? And obviously Tien is still mine at that stage because he liked the fact that the team won over his former team. So that was quite nice.
Exactly. Well, that's what's important at the end of the day, isn't it? It's the team performance, it's
Yeah.
team win, and obviously that was a key win as well. When you think about it, if that would have
Yeah.
gone the other way, Titans would have won again.
Yeah. Again.
Yeah, definitely. They're a massive team, aren't they, the Titans? I do quite like
They
them. I
are.
must admit, they're one of my favourite teams in South Africa. But yeah, we've obviously mentioned there, Supersport Park, absolute seamless paradise, isn't it? What would you say has been your favourite ground to play at in South Africa as a whole?
Wow. So going back to Newlands, definitely, because it wasn't my home ground, but it sort of was my home ground because my family's still there. Everyone I know, I grew up there, so that was my home ground. And then Wanderers, Johannesburg, was also
Nice.
loved it. We probably played on some of the tricky wickets there, so a lot of the times, first class cricket that's not televised, sometimes you get a side strip with a lot of cracks and it's green. So for me, being a seamer, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. Like if you bowl half well or half decently to the potential you can, you pick up wickets. The batters hated it, absolutely hated it, but I loved it. Also like batting there because you sort of you had to commit to one side, so you could just either go out and take it on the body, and when it's there you can just try smash it. But so they're probably Newlands and Wanderers, yes.
Well, yeah, great choices. Both absolutely iconic cricket stadiums in South Africa. And who would you say has been your... We'll start with batsman first, okay? Because obviously you primarily bowl. Who's the toughest batsman that you've faced and bowled to?
Kevin Peterson, hands down.
Good
Kevin
choice.
Peterson.
Yeah.
He played a season in South Africa. In the nets, probably skate wise, Andre Russell, because he did the ball that hard. And that's just in the nets. And I tell him, look, we used to call him big man. Big man, what are you practicing? If you're practicing hitting straight, I'm not bowling. So like, no. So what you practicing? No, I want to go cow corner. And that just says like, okay, cool, I'll bowl there. Just hit it that way, don't hit it straight. And then in a game, Kevin Peterson, hands down. I mean, this guy, he had such a presence at the crease. And I remember we played a brilliant game in Kimberley, Diamond Oval. We scored, I think it was close to 197. And by that time, Kevin Peterson was in form. He's got 200 in a row. And against us, he got his third 100. And he won the game in 16 overs. It was just unbelievable hitting. And I remember us running into bowl. So the wicket was that good. So I just brought the keeper up. And I remember running into bowl and he just reverse slapped me for 6 to win the game. And I was like, nah, this guy's just on like the presence, the way he batted. It's probably hands down toughest batter I've had to bowl to.
Well, yeah, exactly. KP, ridiculous, absolute genius, wasn't he, really? Especially with that bat in hand. Handy with off spin as well sometimes.
Sometimes, yes, definitely.
But yeah, yeah, 100%. And what about toughest bowler that you've faced? Obviously, in South Africa, you've had some brilliant seamers over the years there. Who would you say has been the toughest to face?
Wow. So there's a spell that stands out to me at that time. It's probably Craig Alexander. That's the spell that stands out to me. He got the ball to reverse quite early in the game. And that was probably the toughest spell. He probably bowled, I'm assuming, late 130, so it wasn't extreme pace, but the skill that he displayed on that was hands down the best skill I faced. I'll be honest, the best skill. One of the other toughest bowlers, let's have a think here. I don't actually know, to be honest. Obviously, uncomfortable was Andrich Nokia. He sort of runs in quite quickly at a time. So before you bat my hands was a lot more sweaty than normal because he ran and he bowled quick. So he's also one of the tougher ones. There's been a few years. Pierre Hubert, actually, from Titans back in the day. He wasn't quick at all. Not at all. But sort of, you put down a coin on a wicket, he'd hit that day in, day out without leaving it, and he'd have a lot to say to you. So he was also one of the guys, actually. But Craig Alexander, the spell he bowled when he played for Dolphins, was probably the best I've faced, honestly.
Yeah, I was expecting that. I read that your Q&A with Cricket Fanatics. You mentioned that spell. Obviously, it's left a lasting impression on you.
Yeah, it has. I mean, it's something I've learned from also. I mean, just the way he planned it because I was left-handed, and his natural shape was to swing it back into me, but with the reversing ball, he got it to go massively away. And you could see the seam coming out absolutely beautifully and just doing this, going big. And I was playing and missing the whole time. And then, look, to be fair, Imran Tahir also, I'll never forget this game. Sorry, another story, totally off the topic. And at that time, I couldn't pick him at all. A lot of times, I still can't, to be fair. And I came into bat, never faced him in my life. First ball slug trip because I couldn't see it. I couldn't see what he was bowling, and went for 6, and he started having a go at me. He bowled me 3 googlies in a row. Play and miss, play and miss, play and miss. And he just shouted from the other side of the wicket, "Are you not picking that? I mean, why can't you hit the ball?" Or something like that. I was like, to be fair, I can't see it. I can't see that you're bowling the googly. And then, yeah, a bit of banter. But yeah, sorry to go off the topic again.
No, that's absolutely fine. Obviously, I love Imran Tahir. I was there for his final ODI match actually in Manchester last year, him and JP Duminy.
Oh,
But
brilliant.
yeah, brilliant seamer, brilliant spin bowler, leg spinner. But yeah, obviously now your first class career came to an end this year, didn't it? Really, in 2020, Shadley. What are your future plans in cricket then? Obviously, I'm guessing a focus on white ball.
Yeah, so future plans is I've sort of looked to come to the USA and look at the cricket scene here at the moment. COVID obviously sort of killed everything for us. If I can, not killed everything, but slowed the process down completely. I'm also looking to do a little bit of coaching. So future plans wise, I'd love to stay in cricket. I mean, the game's given me so much. I got to travel the world. I've got to see a lot of the world, play against some great players, play with some great players. So for me at this moment, I'd love to give back the game. I still believe I'm young. I'm 31 years old, so I've still got a few years left to me, which is what I believe at least. I know a lot of the media at this stage, shorter when you start getting to 32, 33, they're like, no, this guy's old. And especially as a bowler or predominantly a bowler. So, but for me, I'd love to stay in the game. So immediate plans, studying at the moment. I've also been doing a lot of, not a lot of coaching, but I enjoy coaching, giving back as much as I can. And then still playing at the moment, or when we get the chance to play again, definitely play until my body says, look, it's time to stop. And at the moment, it's not there, so I'll be playing for a few more years, hopefully, if the game allows me to.
Brilliant. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've thoroughly enjoyed watching you play for the Knights. That's what I said. It was kind of strange when that announcement came out that you were not going to play any first class. But yeah, I'm glad that you're keeping on with it. And obviously, coaching would be great. And that actually kind of brings me on to the last question of the podcast, really, Shadley. Okay, I'm glad that you mentioned coaching. Okay. Let's say you've got a player who's brand new to cricket. Okay, they barely ever played their, I don't know, in their first month or so of playing the game. What advice would you give to that young cricketer?
Advice-wise, at that stage, depending on age, obviously, you want him to find the love for the game. So you want him to have that love for the game. I mean, I love the game. So if someone has the love for the game, they'll continue to support, watch, or whatever way. So advice I'll be giving that kid is, firstly, start enjoying it, trying to enjoy it. Hopefully, the kid will have a coach that will make it that enjoyable that he wants to come back to the next practice, and then get the base of enjoyment first, and then a little bit more technical work. So the enjoyment comes with a little bit of technical work, but there's obviously things you can do around cricket that can make it fun. So kids' advice, if they really want to play at high levels, is start enjoying it. As they get older, make them sort of feel a bit more comfortable with the uncomfortable, because the training can be quite strenuous, quite stressful. But for a young kid, just say enjoy it. If you really want it, you definitely will be able to do it, regardless of, I believe, regardless of talent, regardless of background. If you really want to make it, you will do it. But basics or enjoyment, basics, take it from there. That's what I'd say. Just enjoy it.
Well, that's lovely advice, definitely. And I love that bit. Obviously, you're cricket mad. It's just incredible, isn't it, really, to have that passion still 30 years on, really. Yeah, love to hear that as a cricket fan myself. But yeah, that pretty much wraps up episode 18 of the podcast. Shadley, do you have anything final just to say? Any social media plug, for example?
No, look, I've social media handles, but I'm not really massive on that, so I'm fairly happy. And thank you, Aaron, for having me. I really enjoyed it. I mean, I love speaking about cricket, so I could go on for months and years literally just talking about cricket. But thank you very much for the opportunity. I really do appreciate it.
Well, no problem. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. I think you've been absolutely incredible, Shadley. Absolutely love talking cricket with you. As I said, if you want to do it again, I'm more than happy to have you on. But yeah, that wraps up episode 18 of the TCC Talks podcast. To all of those who've tuned in, thank you as always for tuning in. And as always, guys, enjoy the rest of your day.